most badass hockey podcast in all of no land. This is A Shot from the Point.
Coming at you on demand from the heart of Europe, this is A Shot from the Point. I am Tommy C. This is my co-host, Dead On Dave. We're here to talk to you about Game 3 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Kings, Devils. Absolutely amazing. One of the most domineering performances I can think of in recent memory. Dead On Dave is one game closer to his actual perfect predictions. His predictions have been near perfect. I'm thinking you're in like the 70th percentile in your predictions.
I don't know what that. I'm not this good, and it's kind of scary.
You're Dead On Dave. What are you talking about?
Yes, but I think that was more of a condescending name than anything else when it was thrust upon me.
Well, it worked that way.
I have to say, I'm excited. 4-0 in a beatdown. It was a beatdown in La La Town. It was wonderful. Before I get going too much, I do want to address a mistake I made. I misspoke. I said that no New Jersey team has ever been swept into playoffs. I meant the Devils have never been swept in any round of the playoffs. I apologize for that mistake. But that's about to change anyway because this game, it's over. It's over.
You can put it to
Get
bed.
the ring sized up. It's over.
Bring out the brooms. It's over. It's done with. There's nothing. I saw a buddy of mine mourning on Facebook, a Devil fan, and I just said, "Look, you ran into a brick wall." And he wrote
his
back.
name is Jonathan Quick.
Yeah, his name
The
was Jonathan.
soon-to-be Conn Smythe winner. Jesus.
Well, I think that's the one thing the Devils have to be disappointed about because Brodeur did exactly what he needed to do, and they don't have the talent to really bust through that defense.
I don't blame Brodeur, man. There's only so much you can do as a 40-year-old goalie. There's only so much you can do when you're not getting any help. And as good as Brodeur has been, Quick has been far superior.
Oh, for sure. And I think that's – but you can't say that Brodeur hasn't given them enough to win the Stanley Cup. And I think –
he's kept them in games. When I was watching the game yesterday, I saw the 5-on-3 in the first period. When it looked like the Kings were about to kill that penalty, I knew right then. It was still 0-0, but I knew the game was over.
You could feel the momentum.
I
felt it. Yeah,
5-on-3, and the Kings still looked like they could play with them. That's scary.
The momentum was if you don't understand anything about momentum or can't feel it, that would be a good place to learn because it's on your face and obvious. This was a turning point. Unfortunately, when I was watching the game, I flipped on Facebook unwittingly and I saw the 4-0. That's about the time that I saw the end of that thing. But I don't think you have to be a rocket scientist to come to the conclusion that this game was over before it started. I got that impression. This is the single most dominating performance I've seen by any team in my lifetime, definitely in recent memory. The Kings have done an outstanding job. We called it early. We said this looks like a near unstoppable team. The only thing that I think me and you had issues with is just the fact that they were an 8 seed, and we were thinking maybe this might collapse.
Well, we've talked about how they were an 8 seed, but we got to remember they were only 3 points away from being a 3 seed. It's not like they were that far off. I mean, it was a very close. I looked at the standings and I saw they were an 8 seed, but just barely.
Excellent point, Dead On Dave. Also, this team has gone through 3 coaches.
1, 2, and 3.
There's 1, 2, 3 coaches, and Daryl Sutter, who I don't know, seems like he's a retired heavyweight champion.
Jeez, man, maybe you got to get coaches with brain damage to win.
Jesus, maybe they're right about these hits. But what's going on with Daryl Sutter?
I don't think he knows what the hell's going on with Daryl Sutter.
Whatever he's doing, keep doing it.
We are going to the floor checking. We're
pass out the neutrals, zone.
Man.
Well, I don't know. He's either luckiest guy.
The guy that has to interview him. Be like, no, I don't want to do this.
I think Pierre McGuire should be assigned to him.
Someone else to interview him.
Yeah, Daryl's a great guy. He's a great player too. His whole family is his historic family inside the National Hockey League. But it is funny to hear him talk. Guys. It doesn't seem like he knows what the hell. He must know what's going on. You can point to the time when the Kings turned it around to the offense that he supposedly set up over there. They're moving out of the zone. He fixed what they needed. This is a team that had scoring problems. Scoring problems. Can you imagine? The LA Kings, going back in November, had scoring problems. I can't see that. I can't see that at all. This is, like I said, one of the most domineering performances. I heard this from you. I heard this. I didn't even hear this from you. I heard this in the street. That once this team gets warmed up, they will be unstoppable. And I actually had that feeling all along.
Look for this team to be dominant over the next 5-year period. They're young. They have the best goaltender in the game. They got one of the best players in the game.
Quick. Yeah. He looks like a spider monkey. Quick.
Oh my God, he's so athletic.
He's so athletic, and he has such a bizarre sort of butterfly-ish stance. And he really plays. The one thing Jeremy Roenick pointed out, something I noticed too, is he plays very low. But those lateral movements are so quick at the part of the net. That's the only sort of weak, because he's not a very tall man, or at least doesn't know it, or he gets down so low. I like to actually know his height, to be honest with you. He does.
Studies kung fu or something.
It's bizarre. His stance is bizarre. It's butterfly, but it's sort of wider, and he just. God, it doesn't even seem like he has skates on. He just slides back and forth so quickly. It's a new style, but maybe that's something about being a goaltender. Maybe there's something. There's things like, you saw Tim Thomas has a bizarre style. Dominic Hasek at a board. Maybe there's more to develop there. Maybe this position hasn't been totally figured out. And guys like Jonathan Quick can be innovators in an up and coming sport. Maybe Jonathan Quick grew up watching guys like Hasek and Thomas. Well, maybe not Thomas because he's in Finland, but I mean. There's maybe, the stand-up goaltender, the traditional goaltender that we've seen is not necessarily not a type of goaltender you have to have. Maybe there's more styles. I think it's interesting. Are you confused? Does he really play kung fu or have anything?
No, I have no idea, but it looks like
he does look like a kung fu master. You're absolutely right.
The way he moves, his movements are like blindingly fast. He's got amazing hand-eye coordination, and he has to be doing yoga. He's so flexible.
Yeah.
I mean, man.
I saw him do a split sliding backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I mean, I know splits are kind of common among goalies, but the way he does them, he seems to be flat.
Yeah, I know. I think it's a mixture of DNA and hard work, and that's what makes perfect athletes.
He is an athlete. There is no question about that.
I don't think I started thinking this the other day that I may have not been giving him enough credit, and I think it's because I just expect him to play so well so much of the time. I take him for granted almost. He's a special goalie, and he's been consistent throughout.
And he's still kind of relatively new. This Kings team came out of nowhere because, like we talked about, they were really bad early in the season. When you go through 3 coaches in a year,
You usually don't make the playoffs.
I don't think this has ever happened where there's been 2 coaching changes and then they win the Stanley Cup. I don't think that's ever happened.
I can't imagine. I don't remember any kind of.
I don't think it's happened.
I remember a double coaching change within the Rangers. In one season, I seem to remember something like that, or maybe it's the Islanders that they actually had 2 coaches. I think that was maybe sometime in the 90s, but I can't remember anything like that. I certainly can't remember a team that had coach changes and were successful.
Yeah.
The mid-season coaches are usually gone by the end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just
I think it's safe to say that they're going to pick up Sutter's option. I mean.
Oh, well, for sure. And we goof on the guy. By Dave. Yeah. But he reminds me of, he reminds me of, do you watch You Can't Do That in Television?
Yeah, oh my God.
He reminds me of Barf.
Yeah, Barf. Yeah, the chef. Yeah.
Barf. Barf, that's what's in the burgers. Oh, man. I'm glad you remember that because I would have been very upset.
It's funny that you said that real quick. You know who got their start on You Can't Do That on Television?
Alanis Morissette.
Yes, Alanis Morissette. Yes.
I did know that. See, I'm a smart guy.
Yeah.
You know who she used to date?
Who'd she used to date?
Mike Peluso of the New Jersey Devils of the Crash Line, 1995.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, see, look how we tie everything back into hockey.
I'll even tie it to one of her songs.
Neat little bow.
I will tie it to one of her songs. Her breakout hit, You Ought to Know, came out in 1990.
That was about him?
That's what it was rumored to be about, was about Peluso. But Peluso, I remember when he was in New Jersey, he said to the Star-Ledger, he said, look, this isn't about me. I met her at a celebrity Canadian meeting. We dated once or twice, but we really didn't have any kind of intimate relationship. This song couldn't possibly be about me. Who it was about was somebody that was very close to hockey. A guy by the name of Dave Coulier. Does that mean...
Wait, are you talking about Full House, Dave Coulier.
Dave Coulier, when he hit his stride, apparently left old Atlantis,
Oh my
who is
god.
not the most attractive woman in the world, to be honest with you. She's very talented, and I think
I think she's pretty.
she's not ugly by any means, but she's not a model. You know what I
No,
mean?
she's not Scarlett Johansson.
Her talent is what makes her attractive. You know, there are women out there that they're so talented or well spoken, or I mean, when you're really good at anything, even academics, it can make you attractive. You know,
It's very true.
and I think that's she was pretty. That whole song's about Dave Coulier. That was a rumor during the 90s. Both Coulier and Morissette have confirmed that 20 years later.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
That is crazy.
But Peluso was getting the heat for it when the song came out. That was the funny part.
Dave Coulier, man, I cannot believe that we're talking about. Wow,
It's funny.
The failed comedian who was never funny. The one person on Full House that was supposed to be funny that wasn't.
He is one of the most no talent success stories I've ever seen in my life. I mean, he loves hockey. He's Canadian too, and that's one of the reasons. He's Canadian, but he's an absolute no talent by any. I never got that show personally.
Yeah, I know. I never.
I like looking at Candace Bergen
because
we were around the same age, and she looked like she was available, but she wasn't. She married Sergei Fedorov or Pavel Bure or both those guys. I forget. You know.
I grew up with it, so I mean, for me.
Did you know that the Candace Bergen or whatever her name was, she married Bure or Valerie Bure. That's Pavel's brother.
Huh.
Yeah. So there's all sorts of weird.
I always wanted to bone Lori Loughlin. You know,
who's Lori Loughlin, the middle one?
The chick who played Jesse's girlfriend.
I didn't get that far. I think I was
she was Danny's. She was the co-host on the show. The Good Morning of San Francisco, Wake Up San Francisco. She's the only grown-up female. She was the only lead female cast member that was an adult.
I see. Let me give you an idea when I stopped watching that show.
So hot, Lori Loughlin. So hot.
When I stopped watching that show, it was before the Olsen twins could walk.
Oh wow!
It was probably like '89. I saw one episode, man.
Wow, yeah, she's so hot, so hot.
We're getting way off from hockey.
It all relates.
It sure does. Let's wrap up with the King. Devils.
It's over. It's over. Devils.
Let me tell you something. If they somehow turn this around, I'll root for them because I'd love to see something like that. Why? Why is that?
Yeah, you know why. We both know why. Yeah. I couldn't root for this team.
Those guys hurt you, huh?
No, they pissed me off. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Attack my views if you like.
See, I don't attack my team, but I mean, my whole thing was they attacked me. You know, I mean, like my fairness or something. I don't know why I can give a shit, but I mean,
yeah, they just call me fat.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I know you can take that, but here's the thing. And I'm gonna leave this. We're not hearing. I'll tell you a secret, Dave, and I'm telling this on the air now. But they were one of them on your knees had been contacting me outside privately on YouTube. Yes, and something happened. You are disabled fat, and I was a little. I mean, look, I know you can take a bull busting about being fat, but as far as like being able to get out and walk around, I know that goes right. That hurts. And I didn't want it to go that way. And this is kind of my idea for anybody just to kind of get into it with these guys. So, because I thought it'd be fun and it would just kind of create controversy and what have you. It got a little more out of control than I thought because my friend I thought could actually be hurt. You can pretty much say whatever you want about me, but Dave's got issues. So what happened was I deleted, hopefully, when he said something about you being able to walk, I deleted it, praying that you wouldn't be able to see it, you know?
I didn't see it. Actually, this is the first I've known about this.
Okay. All right. I deleted it and I wrote him.
He made reference to my service?
No, nothing to service, just like, you know, going to the gym or something like that, which I know
I saw that.
You couldn't possibly do if you wanted to. And you did see that. All right. So I tried to clip that and I wrote to him. I didn't curse. I didn't swear at him or anything. And I wrote to him. I was like, look, just turn your attention to me. Call me an asshole, whatever. And I was like, just you can call him fat. Just, you know, leave that. Leave that one. I know you can. I know you can. But now I'm like, and I didn't curse. I didn't say anything rude. I just said, look, you know, take it. You know, just focus on me. Just leave that one off the table, please. You know.
I
So
appreciate it.
well, a lot of this is my fault because this is me.
Well, the funny thing
I
is,
want
I
to stop.
got involved to take it off of you.
No, I didn't want you. See, I don't want it. You let these bastards at me. I don't care. I like it. I like it, but I didn't think that it would hurt anybody else. So
Well, I
anyway,
didn't think he was going to go that personal on me. I thought we were busting each other's balls on views and stuff.
yeah,
And then he went completely personal, basically because he has nothing to say.
of course, and we haven't heard from him, but I think we're never going to hear from him again because I wrote him back and I said, look, like I said, lay off. Let's end this. Concentrate on me. I want you to keep cursing and swearing at me, but just point it towards me, not that particular. I said he got hurt in Iraq, and I got a response from him, and it said, "Prove it."
What?
And I got really upset. So I decided to prove it for him. I told him you got hurt fucking his mother, and if you wanted proof, look for the belt on top of her dresser. And I haven't heard from him since, and that was after we
Oh,
lost game
shit.
2. So let me tell you something, guy. You fuck with me or my friends, whether it's on there or that this is what you get. You can't even come to listen to this anymore because you're so thoroughly embarrassed. We took you out. You're a punk. And just remember it, and we're done with this, and we're going to move on to other hockey business. See you later,
Bigger
punk.
and better things.
I'm better than you. I'm smarter than you, and I'll take you out, you fucking punk. Okay, that's it.
My hero.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, Popeye.
Yeah, whatever. Shut the fuck up, you fatso. What? I can't get a laugh for that?
I laughed.
Okay.
You need me to laugh louder?
Don't compliment me.
Do you need me to Ed McMahon it up here?
Sometimes.
Hi-yo!
There you go. Listen, we talked about a little bit about Tim Thomas the other day, and we kind of gave him a little love fest. I just want to point out real quick some information I found out this morning. Thomas is trade or non-tradable, or what would you call that? Anti-trade, or
I would call it a no trade clause.
no trade clause. Yeah, I'm a genius. Thomas's no trade clause actually ends next month, and there are some rumors, and there are rumors just that Thomas may be pulling this to kind of stay in Boston or not allow Boston to move him in an area that he doesn't want to go to towards the end of his career. It would be good timing because the CBA is coming up, and if it has anything to do with past CBAs, the whole league may be frozen for a few months anyway, if not lose the entire season. That's not unreasonable to say because the last two CBA negotiations ended up in long-term work stoppages. So I'm just throwing that out there just in case this isn't what it appears to be.
Oh, no. According to his statement, it's about the 3 Fs.
Yeah.
Family, friends, and faith.
And I want to believe that, and I generally do, but I don't believe anybody because I don't trust anybody. I think Tim Thomas, I went on who I thought he was, but that doesn't mean I know who he was. And
no, but
everybody says that when they get in trouble.
Yeah, it's very true. And you know what? It could be completely askew. And like I said, we're probably going to hear more about this before it's all said and done.
Sure.
And honestly, I thought they were going to be in trouble, but I don't think they are. They got they got 2 young goalies on the roster. They got one who supplanted Thomas before Thomas took it back because the guy got hurt. So, I'm not too worried about them at a hockey standpoint. And I don't know if the trade thing really holds up because who's going to trade for a 39-year-old goalie?
Chicago.
No, I don't think we got Dominic Hasek on speed.
He's 47. I'd rather take a 38. It was almost 10 years.
I'll take the Dominator.
At 47?
Yeah, I'll take the Dominator at 47 because I know if we win the cup again, at least Dominic will go meet the president, and that's something.
And give him a Stone Cold Stunner.
Yeah, there we go.
His favorite wrestler, I found out. Stone Cold, one of my favorite wrestlers too.
He's one of the greatest of all times.
Absolutely. Top 5, would you say? Top 10?
For me, top 5 all time because of his mic work. Mm-hmm. I loved him personally when he was in WCW, when he was stunning Steve Austin.
Did you really? You're the only guy in the world that likes stunning.
Oh, I loved it when he was the Hollywood Blondes with Brian Pillman back in the day.
Okay.
Great wrestling skill. And then he came over to the WWF, and his skill was diminished.
Because of his injuries.
He just became a brawler, even though he was introduced as the ringmaster, which some technical genius, but he didn't show it. Sure. He just punched people in the face.
The ringmaster. Well, a lot of that had to do. You got to give Austin some credit. Yeah, he but towards the end of his career, he did have to change his wrestling style to brawler. But he was you could see even when he was. I mean, first of all, his finishing move took a lot of athletic I think it looked very cool, and I think it's because he was so athletic. Just because he couldn't do the the German suplexes and the belly to back suplexes and things of that nature didn't mean he wasn't a great athlete. He was one of the best athletic brawlers I've seen. He switched that style because it was more conducive to his condition.
Yeah, it made him. He made it look real too. That's like when he was beating up, stomping people down. It looked. He sold it very well. What he did.
Absolutely, and the best finishing move of all time. Moving on, let me rattle off on.
Oh, here we go.
Rattle off.
I like what you did.
Well, first off, with this guy on Radulov, I started. For anybody who wants to know the history of these shows, which goes about a whole 2 months, I did the video kind of on a whim on Facebook. That turned into like a video cast, which turned into a podcast, which turned into a podcast and video cast, which is turning into like skit stuff, which is turning into something that I may do with soccer. So it's just kind of growing from there, all right? Because the Euro Cup's coming up. So I start doing all this stuff. Wow, I just had a total brain freeze. What was I talking about?
Radulov,
yeah. So I need something to talk about in one of these. I think there was some dead time between maybe series 1 and 2. So I just picked Radulov because he'd been playing crappy. I didn't really have any feelings about the guy. But then I looked up and I found out that he hit his coach with a hockey stick and he's a little bit out of control. And he was, he got caught. He ended up getting suspended for game, 3 and 4 because he was out late with his buddy. And then I'm like, oh, this is somebody I can kind of pick on because it's something to talk about. Well, now this whole thing comes full circle, and where this rumor started, by the way, is the Rangers website itself. Is like, what would you think about Radulov? It almost seems like the Rangers organization is floating this by their fans. And I got to be honest with you, I reconnected with an Ranger fan from where I grew up, and he knows somebody else who does a podcast, a hockey podcast, and we're all Ranger fans, and everybody had these. I don't want this cancer on my team. Why would you want a guy like this on your team? I did a whole video on this nut job. You're going to bring him over here? So what? He can suck up? So he can... You imagine what Tortorella was going to do with this guy? You think he's going to tolerate this? Radulov's not going to be able to just float out there. What do you think, Dave? I think I lost you, Davey. We might have to do 2 shows. All right, Davey, we're having a little technical difficulty, but we'll get it right back up in a second. Lost you, buddy.
I am alive.
We lost you, buddy. It's all right. Yeah, it's all right. The MP3 keeps recording. It picks up where it's set off. So
I heard everything you just said.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
Smoothly go right into what you were saying about Radulov.
Sure.
Very simply, I think it's really funny because I hope that it's on some kind of video record. We talked about this, and I actually said what would happen if he gets picked up by the Rangers because we were talking about could anyone reel him in. I think Tortorella could do it. I think he's the right coach. He might be the only coach that could get this kid playing. And you know what? You should be excited about the possibility of having an elite scorer because if he can be reined in, he can be a top 5, top 6 goal scorer in this league.
I don't want to wait. I've seen guys like him before. And you know what? He could be. It's not like we're bringing Claude Giroux over. No, it's not like we're bringing Sidney Crosby over. We're bringing a potential guy with an attitude problem. And we did have a conversation on this on one of the videos before we made it a podcast. How many championships does Barry Bonds have? How many championships does T.O. have? How many championships? The head case athletes don't win championships. I mean, look, the Rangers aren't going to stay young forever. If they spend the next 5 years trying to, hopefully convince this guy not to be an asshole, next thing you know, Prust is gone, which he may be going soon, and next thing you know, the team kind of falls apart. I would much rather bring him. Why not? I take Nash over him in a finger snap.
I'm hearing more and more about Parise coming over.
Parise would be fine with me too. I have no problem with Parise coming over. I got no problem with. Radulov. No, I think he's a cancer. He's a cancer in the locker room. Yes, he has potential, but there's been a lot of guys that have come and gone with great potential. Eric Lindros, Bobby Carpenter. Lindros, Carpenter became a utility player when he retired, and Lindros never got the hold of a championship, mostly, at least from Bobby Clark's standpoint in Philadelphia, because of his work ethic and his attitude. I don't want to bring a guy like this over here, not when we're so close, not when we're building the pieces of a championship. That's probably why I could deal with this loss so well. I know we're building towards something. I look at the ages of these guys, and we're going to bring a guy like
horizon.
This could change the whole because they're going to run the offense through this guy. And if he is a cancer and he thinks he's better than everybody, it's going to be a problem. He could get Tortorella fired.
He
Easy.
could.
He
He
could get
could.
to we spent all this money on this Radulov. You can't and Tortorella's like, I ain't working with the son of a bitch. He's a punk. He won't listen to me, and he wants to do everything his own way. This type of guy that would hit somebody with a hockey stick, yeah, that's conceivable.
But Tortorella wouldn't be afraid to send this asshole down to the minors either.
I think he did that. He'd lose his job. Not with
I don't think so.
You know?
I don't think he would.
He did I mean, Avery's not a talent like Radulov is.
I think if you have to assume if they're going to bring in Radulov, it's going to be with Tortorella's blessing, and Tortorella's only going to bless off on this if he has control over this guy, and that means roster moves. If he has to make it perfectly clear with management that if they're going to bring this guy in with all the potential problems that he has, that if he wants to send this guy down for a couple months, then that has to be a possibility.
But that's not how it works. The Rangers are a corporation. And they're owned by they own a bunch of other teams. I forget if it was a Viacom or what have you. The way it works in a big corporation like this is you get right here. We got your Radulov, and deal with it. And if it doesn't work, it's your fault. That's what'll happen to Tortorella. And there might be a better reason for getting rid of Tortorella, and he won't change. And I don't think he'll change. I think his behavior among the press is just a clear example that he can't possibly change. I don't know if you saw he was trying to kiss the media's ass with Bob Costas the other day. He was trying to do that. He's trying to remake his image, but that's not who he is.
No.
And this guy could cause a real problem. I cannot imagine. Not to mention how well disciplined team the Rangers are. What a family atmosphere they seem to have. You put a guy like this guy, he's like that guy in that movie Goon. The guy who gets sent back to the minors. The French.
He is. And I thought about that every time that we've brought him up. That's the Flame. That's exactly who I think about. Sure. But you know what though? This is the type of team that you would want a problem to come to because of the fact that they're so strong, internally. There's certain teams out there that that you can, in all of sports, the Yankees have a strong locker room presence. The Ravens, the Steelers, there are certain teams out there that have strong locker room presence that can handle problems. And if not, they're gone. They're gone.
I don't know. It means we might waste a season when we could have brought in Nash. When we could have look, they're not going to take Nash and Parise and Radulov. It's going to be one of the three. And I want why? I mean, Parise, he's proven. He's a proven leader. Radulov is Nash. Nash is a proven regular season player. Radulov is a non-proven anything. He's just Radulov is a concept. He's a theory.
Well, see, that's why I think that you could still get Nash or Parise and then still make the play on Radulov. It can only be a plus either, but it has to be under the conditions of what I said earlier. If he's being a dick, then you have to be able to send him down.
Well, I don't think the Rangers should be able. I don't think management operates in that way. I mean, that makes a lot of sense, Dave. But I just don't think that's.
Well, that's the Rangers' fault then, and then the Rangers deserve to fail.
Yeah, they probably
if they're not going to be flexible to the matters at hand, if they're going to be blinded by stupidity, then they deserve to have it blow up their faces.
Well, here's the thing. This is what I'm saying. Why avoid all that? Let Radulov stay in where he's going. Send him back to KHL. This is not going to work.
Well, he has a lucrative contract on the table from the KHL, so
let him go.
Yeah, I was reading about that. He has the choice now. He has a very lucrative contract on the table to go back and play over there, but he wants to stay in the NHL.
Sure.
And
I'm sure he does. That's where the real money's at. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, he could stay in the KHL, make a lot of money, but I mean, he's never going to be the proven superstar that he thinks he wants to be. I don't even know if he is. Hey, I got some news off the wire. I don't know too much about this award, although it's a good name for it. Phoenix Coyotes Shane Doan, finalist for Mark Messier NHL Leadership Award. I wasn't sure they had a Mark Messier award. That's news to me. I hate the award show. It's so stupid. I mean, I just find out who wins the stupid awards. But the leadership award, I don't know how that's measured. It's so subjective. But supposedly Doan's up for it. It would be an absolute riot if Doan gets this after he behaved like an absolute asshole leaving the ice against Los Angeles. That they're gonna, say you deserve the Mark Messier award for leadership.
Yeah,
what about Brown? Brown wouldn't get this. Well, I mean, I guess they decide this before.
I guess, but I mean, I don't know. I would not. To, that
Dustin
would be.
Brown, Ryan Callahan are also up for this award. And I think either of those guys, based on playoff performance, are a better choice.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. This probably was picked prior to the regular season. If this is picked at playoffs, it'd be a joke if Doan won it. A joke
Yeah.
because the way he behaved in the way out, him and
Yeah, it
Hockey.
was disgusting. It was
Yeah,
absolutely disgusting.
that's a riot. The Mark Messier Award of Leadership. It's a bogus award probably, and nothing. No skin off Messier. He deserves. He's that good. I mean, that's what the NHL does. When you do something really well, they used to. They name a division after you or a conference
Yeah.
after you. I mean, I love that. I like that. I think it's classy. Or an award, like the Rocket Richard Award. I'm sure Gretzky will have his name on an award one day.
One day, yeah.
You know. Oh,
should.
Jeez, I hate to say it. I think we're done with hockey. That's all we got.
Yeah, well, I mean, not a lot going on. We have a dominating series going on that I called, by the way.
Yes, you did.
Sweep.
Brooms.
It's just sometimes that's just the way it goes. We covered all the important stuff of the day.
Sure did.
And, it's kind of funny to me about just how if this was any other, like right now, the Major League Baseball draft is going on, and no one could give a crap less.
I could give a crap less.
No one knows what's going on. It's the only sport that has that. The draft is in the middle of the season, and nobody can give a crap less.
Did you ever think that maybe that's a good thing?
Probably, because there's like 50 freaking there's like 50 different levels. There's rounds. There's like 50 different rounds of drafting. So many players get drafted. It's because there's so many different levels of baseball.
Well, the fact that nobody can care about it means the media can't influence, which probably makes the buzz factor a lot lower, if I had to guess. So good. I'm super glad. Super glad. Yeah, I'm scanning for just about anything on hockey. I'm not really seeing it. Oh, let's see. I do have something kind of sad. Anybody know who Vladimir Krutov is? Well, if you didn't, he played in the 1980s with guys like Larionov, Markov, and Sergei Fetisov. He is fighting for his life right now with something called stomach gastroraja. It's a stomach hemorrhage. Me and Dave both want to wish him the best of luck. He's been induced.
Speedy recovery.
Yeah, man. I'm a big NHL history guy, and as much as I can't stand the Soviets, I have nothing but admiration for those Russian teams. They're fun to watch, even though they never really won anything on even terms. But I do have. I like Larionov. I love Fetisov and Let's Strakhanov and all those guys. I love them, and I hope Krutov is a big part of that. And we would definitely want to wish him. He remains in a drug-induced coma, so this is pretty.
Wow.
This is pretty serious.
That's serious. Yeah.
But for somebody who has serious stomach problems, I'm a little sympathetic as well. And that's what have you. The other thing I want to report is Wayne Gretzky actually dropped the ceremonial puck.
He did.
In the last game.
He
and
did.
He's actually starting to look old.
He is definitely starting to look up. I think it was those years he had to endure coaching the Coyotes that aged him.
He didn't. I'm glad you brought that up. Just because you're a good player doesn't make you a good coach.
Yeah.
And you know what makes the best coaches? Guys that had to struggle in the NHL and guys that worked their way in the minor league system. And if you want to be a good coach, and I say this to Mark Messier, would probably potentially make the best coach, go to the minor leagues, get an AHL team, get an ECHL team, and work your way up the system. That's the best way to become a great coach. Not, I'm Wayne Gretzky, I was a really good player, so I can lead. Look, Wayne knows. I'm sure Wayne understands the game, and for lack of a better word, intellectual level. But the problem with Wayne is he was so talented that it's probably very difficult for him to explain what exactly he did with his body because he probably didn't know. I mean, hockey was in the DNA, and he was he was perfect. So it's probably difficult for him to explain to players what he wants or what he wants from them. Whereas you have sort of a kind of a travelman workhorse player, a guy that fought. A guy like Barry Melrose, a guy who fought to stay in the NHL. Yeah. A guy like Don Cherry. They just make better coaches all around. I mean, they're good. Hall of Fame players almost never make great coaches.
Yeah, great players in different sports. Good, really good to great players they can become really, really great coaches. But it's
rare.
very difficult. It's very difficult to be a legendary player, and really only a couple people come to mind. Larry Bird was very fortunate to be able to become a great. Everything Larry Bird has done has turned to gold.
Did he win a championship though as a coach? I don't think so.
He didn't win. He didn't win a championship as a coach, but he came awfully damn close before he went completely behind the scenes. And he's one of the better executives in the league. And he's about to step down from that as well.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Larry does things his own way, man.
He does. Always
So,
has.
man,
Always will.
Always will.
And he's done it the right way.
Sure.
I
heard.
love Larry
I heard. Well, I love him, but I know he's a colossal prick. And
yeah.
One of the
no, he's quiet.
I've
heard that. I think that's more of an apt description about him, is that he's very reserved.
I read that was generally considered to be the best trash talker and one of the most annoying players to play against during the 80s.
I don't know.
They asked players who's the best trash talker in the league. It was Larry Bird. And if you remember,
I know Stockton was in that.
Stockton,
mode.
really, that surprises me.
Stockton was known as the dirtiest player in the NBA for a very long time.
Getting back.
Do
you know what that classic fight between Dr. J and Larry Bird took place? You know what that took? You know what? How that started?
How did that start?
I'll tell you exactly how it started. As we all know, that Dr. J is talented and as gifted as he was above the rim. On D, there was something lacking there.
There's something lacking. He had no perimeter game.
He really didn't. But
at all.
But he was his joy to watch. And I think Jordan just watched him and said, you know what, I'll add that in defense.
Right?
Because there was a lot of similarities between Jordan and Jay. But apparently, Julius Erving was, he's trying his ass off, trying to play some D, add something to his game. And I guess Bird picked up on it. And he said to him, you keep guarding me that way, I'm going to get 100. And Dr. J lost his cool. And one of the most classic fights between two superstars in the NBA took place. You keep doing that, I'm going to get 100. I heard that Bird could get in your head. I didn't know Stockton was dirty. Stockton
was dirty. Stockton played a dirty style game. Go back, and I've seen many players talk about that Stockton was the dirtiest player. He didn't shut up. Him, Gary Payton, Reggie Miller, some of the best trash talkers and dirty players you will ever see on the court. Reggie Miller was the reason why he was open about it. I mean, just his great documentary about Reggie Miller, the whole thing with the Knicks. If ever want to watch a great sports documentary, I can't remember the name of it, but it's on that ESPN 30 for 30. Fantastic documentary about Reggie Miller.
I love Reggie Miller too.
Yeah, I do too.
Both Stockton and him could shoot from anywhere in the floor too, and that's why I like him.
Well, Stockton was. I never really cared for his offensive game, but his ability to I know
passing game was undeniable.
His passing game was amazing. He played great defense. I think he's still the all-time leader in steals.
Yeah.
So, and he hasn't played in a decade.
No, he hasn't. God, he just turned 50 in March. If you believe that, we're getting old.
Wow.
We're getting old, kiddo.
God.
Unbelievable. John Stockton, 50 years old. And God, didn't what's-his-face just retire a few years ago? Malone? In Miami.
Yeah, Malone, he tried to hang on with the Lakers.
Yeah.
When the Lakers brought in him, Gary Payton, and a few other legendary people.
Here's your championship.
Didn't work out too well.
Didn't work out. They didn't get the championship?
Not with Malone.
No, not with Malone. So Malone never got one, huh?
Malone never got that ring. Barkley never got that ring.
Yeah. Barkley never had too many good. No matter what, except for that's not true. The Suns. He had a good team.
I was about to say. They did. It's not like they weren't there.
He didn't have anybody in Philadelphia.
But they ran into a juggernaut.
Sure.
They ran into the greatest who's ever stepped on a basketball court.
A lot of really great teams back then. A lot of great.
There were actually every team the Bulls played during that 6-year stretch that they won titles in. They were all great teams.
Sure.
The Sonics team was a great team. They would have beat the crap out of almost anyone else they played that year. Houston, the 2 years that they won when Jordan retired, they were great teams. But if Jordan would have been there with the Bulls, we wouldn't be even talking about them because they wouldn't have won back-to-back. I guarantee that.
Jordan should have been on the Nets.
Yeah.
Instead, we got Sam Bowie. Sam Bowie.
Yeah, that worked out real well. Great college player. Great college player.
Sam Bowie? I
Yeah.
don't know anything about him. I know
Oh
he's in New
man,
Jersey for a long time.
he had all kinds of promise, but I don't know how you don't take Jordan there.
Oh, I don't remember when it happened. All I remember is Sam Bowie. He played in New York for a long. He's been played in New Jersey forever. Nets suck, and I'm glad they're in Brooklyn. I hope Jay-Z can do something with him.
Yep.
You know, maybe give him some cool uniforms. I don't know.
Something. He designed the logo.
Did he?
Yeah.
Let me see it. I want to see the. Are they going to be called the Brooklyn Nets?
Yeah, they are going to be the Brooklyn Nets.
The Brooklyn Nets.
It's I think it's interesting. It's a good combination. You got someone like Jay-Z, and then you have a billionaire in Prokhorov, just to be funding everything.
I
And
hope
that
it works.
stadium,
I don't care. It looks cool.
that stadium is going to be beautiful, by the way.
Yeah, the jersey looks cool, man. It's just like it's kind of old school, actually.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
Oh wow. Yeah, the logo's black, and I might get one of those.
Things might be getting bad, or even worse for the Nets, though.
How
Because
cool is it to have a team named Brooklyn again? Anything with their storied history with the Brooklyn Dodgers. How cool is it just to have, anything named Brooklyn? One of the most famous boroughs in New York City. Maybe not for you. I mean, for me.
well,
It's
I mean,
cool.
no, from a historical standpoint, I think it's great. I just, once again, there's just too many teams in that area.
Sure. I don't think this solves the problem. It just makes it cooler for a short period of time.
Yeah. I think it makes the problem a little bit worse because people were already considering New Jersey, a New York team. Now you're in New York with with Brooklyn.
It's funny. We get a team, and we in New Jersey, we get a team. We have to call them New York, with the exception of the Devils. And now, if you get a team in Brooklyn, though, you don't call them New York. You call them Brooklyn. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a weird thing. I think Brooklyn people just like to say it, Brooklyn. That's what I think. I'm gonna get a Brooklyn Nets jersey. I think it's what I already like the Nets more that they left than I did when they were there because they were
You
an
should get some
embarrassment.
cornrows too. Get some cornrows. That'd be fun.
No, I'm not doing that.
It'd be fun.
I'll stick to army haircut until
There
I
you go.
leave in August. By the way, we're getting close. Oh, I just want to make a personal announcement. Maybe I shouldn't. I think you know what I'm going to say too.
I say go for it.
I'm
Say
going
it.
to pat myself on the back. I've been involved in a brutal divorce. And without getting into any details, I am about 8 weeks away from getting my daughter overnight. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, yeah, and that's how much I've had to fight in the past 17 months. And I'm really proud. And the excuses on the other side are running out. The legal system's starting to realize that. Just before you kind of judge me and say, well, why did you get your kid taken away in the first place? The answer is I didn't. I've never been accused of a crime. I haven't been accused of any. When I was married, I was never even accused of. What do you call that when you cheat on your wife?
Adultery.
Adultery. I have not been accused of adultery. I have not been accused of violence. I have not been accused of violence when I was in the Army. I was not accused of violence by the other parties. By the other party's legal team. I have not been accused of anything. All with this sitting on my head, I have managed to lose my daughter on overnight visits without neither evidence nor accusation of a crime. And the excuses are running really, really low because, of course, I haven't done anything wrong. And,
Sometimes patience pays off, my friend.
17 months is unacceptable. I don't think this is really a problem with Germany. I think it's a problem with things in general. And I am going to get my daughter back, like a father should. And,
Absolutely.
And it's basically the standing point. You want to know how childish this was? The whole issue was I wanted I don't have a car because I live in the city. I wanted one less bus ride, and I wanted overnights, and that's all I asked for, and that's it. That's all I wanted. That's all I asked for.
We'll do a sleepover.
The excuses have hit the wall. There's going to be a transition period, and it's over, and I'm very, very happy. I want to curse some people off right now and yell at them, but I'm not going to.
No,
Show
let's
some
not
class.
do that. Let's
No,
not
I mean
cheap.
not
Don't
even
cheapen.
just who you think I might. There's a I'll give you. I can tell this story.
Are you
in
sure?
this sense that, yes.
You don't wanna
I
cheat
could
the
I could tell this story because I think it's going to make people feel good. Everybody has this. I think it's called the CPA in California, and I think it's in New Jersey. It's called the Division of Youth and Family Services. And in Germany, it's called Jugendamt. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. These are the people that come and take your kids away from you. Sometimes without provocation, usually for political reasons. I won't get into this, but I had one of these people that is very much obviously rooting for the other side and doing everything they can. When I had the other party on the back against the wall, when these excuses are becoming more and more, this person interjected in my court case and started talking about, well, maybe a bus ride, maybe more toys would help on the bus ride. Maybe you could start talking about English more, or talking about other things. And this person basically changed it. We're talking about visitation, and this person starts talking about toys, just to interrupt, just to kind of push the subject off because I was gaining ground. She's trying to, change or distract the subject. Right in the middle of the judge, the other party, and me talking about getting visitation, she just interjected, right? And this is a person that had been really in my backside. And my translator, I looked at him and I said, well, thank you very much. And my translator must have been aggravated too because she lit her up. She yelled at her. She said, vielen Dank. And then the person, she gave back, and I said, you know what? Maybe you should be a little more concerned about my visitation rather than what toys I may or may not be playing with. Stop embarrassing yourself. And I said it in the court, and I was expecting the judge to kind of tell me to shut up. And he didn't. And she shut up. And I win. You lose. So if anybody really hated one of those three organizations, which I'm sure you do have some experience with these people, Dave, everybody seems to have a nightmare story from some so-called family agencies in the state.
Maybe I'm lucky. I have no story.
Oh, God, you're lucky. I have one when I'm a kid. They got involved. DYFUS got involved in my family when I was a kid during the divorce. So
I've got
very
really
lucky.
Fortunate, and I did not grow up very well with with the family. I've had a lot of family issues.
Sure.
I've talked to you about a couple of them, but nothing has ever gotten to that standpoint. Mainly because my family really enjoys just standing in a room and yelling at each other.
But you know what? That's healthier than doing this crap. If you really want to get technical,
I agree.
It's much healthier. Just sit there and argue it out or scream it out. I mean, it's a little annoying, but it's much better than getting the government involved in your personal business. And that's what I recommend. If you do decide to do something like this, don't get the government. I'd come to an agreement, because if you can't come to an agreement, you end up like this. And it just really affects the kids. And it becomes a war. But for anybody that ever wanted to, if you ever said the right thing, and maybe I didn't tell the story very well, the right thing, you ever want to say the right thing at the right moment, at the right place, at the right time, to embarrass somebody who really deserved it, I got to do that. And it was probably the most electric feeling I've had in a long time.
Well, all I can say is congratulations, my friend. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you. Sorry, I had to pat myself on the back. I think people do want to hear that stuff, though. I do.
I think it's fantastic. You know what? More things like this need to be brought up in the world, because you want your kid, and there's so many people who try to shirk away from their responsibilities. It's nice to hear that you've had every reason that you could have just said, screw this, and walked away.
I had a free plane ticket. I had a free plane ticket from the Army.
People would have given you a pass.
Sure, I would have. Sure would have. But here's the problem. There's a problem with that,
my friend.
There's a problem with this, and we discussed this. You can't sleep at night.
Exactly.
Some people can. Yeah, I know. I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
I don't get it.
But you know what? You did the right thing. You stuck it out. You persevered. And you know what? You are a man, my friend.
Well, thank you very much.
You know what? Your daughter is better off because of it.
Well, I will say this, and we're going to end it right now because I'm sure people are sick of hearing it. The battle's not over. We've still got an 8-week battle to go. I fully expect monkey wrenches and games to be played, because the other party has 8 weeks to screw this up, so I can't get them, and it has to make it look like I've done something wrong. I have to keep my nose particularly clean, and I have to dodge the arrows that are coming my way, which I think will be a do, because the arrows aren't as big. They're, like I said, and they're running out of them. So this is it. It's over. See you. Goodbye. Let's go to Geekery News, because after that we got a
story.
Sure.
We got a good story to talk about, and even greater discussion. I think this might be the most important discussion we've had on A Shot from the Point that we're about to get into. We start with the passing of a legend in the game show and movie industry, and that is the incomparable Richard Dawson.
Only in the reruns.
I loved Richard Dawson, 79 years old.
Survey set!
Passed away. And you made a comment on Facebook, which
give me a kiss, baby. He kissed a lot of chicks over the years.
He did. There's some great videos on that too, by the way. Yeah. But you made a comment that he played one of the greatest bad guys in movie history.
I wasn't joking around either. I
No.
meant it. He was one of the top 5 bad guys I've seen on any motion picture.
He's a great bad guy.
Yeah.
He's a great bad guy. But he was too easily motivated by something as easy as money. So it got me thinking. Who are the most evil bad guys in the history of cinema?
I got a few. I got opinions on this shit, Dave.
I've got my 3, and it's going to be interesting to see where you go.
Go ahead.
So I was thinking what we can do is you give one, I give one, you give one, I give one, you give one, I give one. And
I don't know. See, I'd rather just hear from you and then shoot yours down.
Well, I wanted the same thing. I wanted to shoot yours down.
Because I didn't prepare.
Okay, well
I want to hear you. Let's see you throw 3 first, and then
okay.
Yeah, do your 3.
First, I'm going to give an honorable mention because I do not want to get beaten up for first liking this movie enough to bring it up.
You're going to say Labyrinth?
Well, no.
I don't know.
He wasn't a very bad guy. He wasn't very evil. He was because he didn't know what he really wanted.
There was a good side to David.
Great
Bowie.
movie. I love that movie, but all right, don't judge me. I swear to God.
Okay.
I like this movie, and I think it's well done, and you should watch it.
Okay.
Go watch Spice World. Yes, the Spice World. Screw you.
Go ahead, tell me.
A great movie.
Who was the bad guy?
Okay, there's a guy who he's the his name is Kevin McMackford. He's the newspaper editor. This guy's so evil, he makes it storm in his office. It's fantastically evil.
Really?
But that's my honorable mention.
That's okay. You can't put that one.
No, but it's my honorable mention.
Okay.
My first most evil.
I couldn't even Google that guy.
Oh, it's great. You got to watch the movie. It's great.
Go ahead.
My first most evil villain is the easy one. This is the easiest of the 3, and that is the Emperor from Star Wars, Senator Palpatine, because of how manipulative he was throughout all 6 movies, throughout the universe. The guy was so damn evil. The smile, the look, the smirks on his face when all of these horrible things were happening.
I can go with the Emperor, but I couldn't stand Senator Palpatine. I gotta be honest with you. That had more to do with the series. I know, but I mean, I don't know. The build, it was better when I saw him when I was a kid, and I just knew he was the Emperor. The story, well, I think it had more to do with the story being bad and the new Star Wars. But
well, I like the fact that they showed. I felt it gave the character more range because it showed how manipulative he was, and it also kind of falls on how stupid everybody else was to allow it to happen because it was kind of obvious. Mm-hmm. But still, very manipulative, very sneaky, very evil. Mm-hmm. Was the Emperor?
Sure.
You know?
Oh well, I can swallow that. You have any more? That's 2, right? We're going 5 or 3.
No, that's 1.
Okay.
2. Have you ever seen a classic great movie called Legend with Tom Cruise?
Yes, a long time ago. I know it was like this
one
guy walking around with big horns in his head, looks like Satan. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the godfathers of sci-fi movies, of fantasy movies. Legend, great movie. Very young Tom Cruise, bighorn guy played by Tim Roth. Mm-hmm. Absolutely fantastic bad guy. This guy was so damn evil. Not only does he look evil because he pretty
looks
much
like Satan.
Yeah, but Satan on steroids. He looks like ever seen the movie Mask with Cher and the deformed guy?
Yeah, but he still makes that guy look bad.
Yeah. Well, he looks like him but painted red with giant horns.
It was pretty badass makeup. I gotta be honest with you.
Badass makeup.
I can't remember the film. I probably saw it 20 years ago. I gotta be honest with you. But I'm not going to knock you, but I'll definitely give him for looks, for sure. He's evil personified.
But number 1, the most evil...
So we're just doing 3, is what you're saying. Okay, we're doing 3. Okay,
most evil, for me, the most evil bad guy I've ever seen on cinema.
Sure.
Skeletor from Masters of the Universe.
Skeletor.
He's so evil. He's so evil, he has a henchman named Evil Lynn.
That's true.
Chick, Evil Lynn, and he owns her. He shuts her up. He's so evil.
Skeletor is the best bad guy of all time.
Greatest, most evil bad guy in cinema history.
Of all time. This is really, I wish, I don't know, I wish I gave me more time because this is something that is near and dear to my heart.
This isn't the same as like picking a horror movie villain, which I also have, who I think is the greatest. One of those as well, if you want to go there too.
Well,
I know that,
I have to pick first of all. The first one I'll pick for number three, and it's just because my dad brainwashed me. Um, is a film Jack Palance was in. It's called Shane,
okay.
1953. And I'm going with Jack Wilson, which was the psychopathic gunslinger that Shane had to take on at the end. Jack Palance has a very short part in this film, but he's terrifying in the part that he's in, and he really looks. He's cold as ice, and he plays this role perfectly. If you're not into westerns, you're not going to get it, and it's a very very short scene. But it's one of my dad's favorite bad guys, and I'll throw it. I get it. I get it. Like I said, this movie was made in 1953. So not too many young folks are going to be into it. But Jack Palance is Jack Wilson, I think his name was, in Jack Wilson in what do you call it? The movie Shane, maybe one of the best westerns ever. I gotta check. I'm looking at a list here. I gotta be honest with you, so I can agree or disagree with you. There's so many great bad guys. Oh God, yeah, but see, like these suck, like the Borg Queen and.
Yeah, for me,
I like psychopaths as bad guys, not
the
like,
Borg's not really evil. That's my problem with having.
Yeah, they're
the
not terribly evil. They're just a pain
It's
in the
not
ass.
evil. I'm talking about straight up evil.
Sure.
Because there's better bad guys that have been played cinematically for sure. But
Yeah.
most over the top evil, deliciously evil characters. That's where I was going with my picks.
Sure. I'm flipping through some of these. I don't know. I have my number one, but I'm looking for my number two here, and I'm not real happy with my number one either. Jesus.
Okay,
I mean, I don't know. I just I wish I had I know I wish I had more time because I think this is important.
we can always return to this, but
Yeah.
okay. Well, let's go to this
The
then.
worst bad guy ever.
I know that I think that you have one picked out for this.
What?
And who do you the greatest horror movie
Horror movie?
baddie? Yeah, like horror movie bad guy, like Leatherhead and shit.
Yeah, but those guys
Because
I like the psychological guys. I like, like a Hannibal Lecter type.
see, for me though,
I don't like just like the cartoon like I don't know. I don't know what to think.
I love Jason Voorhees. I love Jason Voorhees. I love
One dimensional. One dimensional.
Yes. There's one guy now you
Okay,
can also
Freddy.
call
Freddy's my number two. Freddy's my number two. Now that you mention it.
pretty damn evil.
Pretty evil, but they ruined him after the third one, and he became like a one-liner guy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, I got it. Number one bad guy of all time. I just got to look it up real quick. It's in the film Alien. Can you know who I'm going to pick? The film Alien, not Alien.
Oh, you're okay. You're picking the
all right.
Bishop.
There's going to be a tie. Yes, but it's going to be a tie. Bishop, and also kind of space film 2001, The Computer, and 2001: Space Odyssey. I think they're tied for first because I found that the most terrifying.
What are you doing, Dave?
What are you doing, Dave? Dave. Yes. So Bishop. But it was really his programmers that were bad. It wasn't really him.
Really evil.
But when in 2001: Space Odyssey, when the machine becomes self-aware, that is terrifying, man. That's scarier than the alien. What are you doing, Dave?
I think it's kind of funny that you said Alien because with the movie that just came out, the Prometheus, which is
what is that about? What is that? Are they just redoing the film?
Basically, it's a lot of people are comparing it to Alien because it's a strong female character, also directed by Ridley Scott and everything.
I know. Why didn't you just remake Alien?
A lot of people. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I've seen bits and pieces, and I've read an awful lot about it. The reviews are kind of skewed on it. A lot of people have issues with the movie. The same thing needs to happen with the first one. Alien had a great premise. It wasn't. I'm sorry. I might be in the minority. Alien was. I'm not a big Ridley Scott fan. Okay.
Right.
What needs to happen is the same thing that happened with that franchise. Get a superior director. Let James Cameron come in, take a good idea, make it better, make it stylized, and turn it into a franchise. Because that's what he did.
Yeah.
Cameron came in and made that. I love Aliens. I think it's far superior to the original.
I think you can't remake a classic. I think Star Wars showed you that. I think that's all you can do with something like that, and I think that's it. I don't know why these directors, these washed up directors, are just like, going back to their best work and just trying to like make it, relive
That's why
it.
I have
It's
so
not
much
going to work.
respect
It never
for Cameron.
works.
That's why I love James Cameron so much, because he only puts out a movie every 10 years,
Sure, and
and it turns out, and every time he does, it's the biggest movie
it's
ever.
successful. But I got to be honest with you, I thought Titanic sucked, and I thought the last one he did, the Blue People movie, sucked.
You didn't like Avatar?
Not at all.
Wow.
Not at all. Avatar came out about 20 years too late. The concept had already been covered. B, the anti-military vibe in the film. And C, the fact that it was so fucking predictable. Pocahontas, for Christ's sakes, in a spaceship. Who wants to see that? In fact, I'd rather watch Pocahontas with my kid. Was it eye candy? Was it spectacular direction? Well, you could say the same thing about that other movie about class warfare, Titanic. It was a beautiful.
You're not a fan of Cameron.
He made Terminator, right?
Yeah, T2, baby.
I like T2. All right, you win one, but that's not about class warfare. The last two movies he made were political. They're obviously a rouge for his own politics. I don't care for them. I don't like them, and you can watch them. I'm very proud to say that I only got through about 20 minutes of Avatar and threw up. It's so boring. It's so boring. Now, that being said, it's probably the best directed film I've ever seen. But the story's garbage. The story is garbage, and that's what means something to me. I can watch an independent film with a small budget as long as it's strong acting with strong story. There's no story in either Titanic or in friggin' Avatar. There's nothing there. It's empty.
I like what Cameron did with Titanic because the story is Titanic, and you could say whatever you want about.
The story is rich people versus sport.
No, it's not. It's not. That was a sub story in that movie, and I think Cameron was so respectful of what the story was that Titanic was the star of the movie because you were lost in the atmosphere of that movie. It was so well done. That's why I love that movie so much because the star of that movie, who should have, if there were best actor, was Titanic.
Yeah.
I mean, I absolutely got lost in that movie because I have a real deep connection with Titanic. I've always loved it since I was a kid. I love the story, not the movie, of course. I'm talking about the actual ship.
Yeah.
I've always been deeply engrossed. I got to meet Dr. Robert Ballard when I was a kid, the guy who found Titanic. Really cool stuff. I've always been very deeply emotionally connected to Titanic. So it's, and I just thought he did a really good job with the movie. The story, yes, I agree with you. The story as far as the classes and, the love story, yeah, kind of garbage. But
I'm sure the president loves it. That being said, it's time to hit the plugs.
Yeah, let's do this.
I'll do this quick because if we have any chance of getting this thing up, because I have to leave for work in a half an hour, we have to do it now. Yeah. So johnfreemanmusic.com, johnfreemanmusic.com. Please go to johnfreemanmusic.com if you want to hear A, his rock album, and B, what he has to offer as far as music's concerned. Yes, he can make you a little jingle, kind of like the one you're hearing now. And the one you're hearing now was like kind of a concept that I threw at him, and I just spoke to him on the phone, and he got it right back to me within about, a few days. And it was really amazing. He did a spectacular job just by a conversation. That's a really good musician that can kind of know what's on your mind.
Talented man.
He can do it for you too. He can do it for you too. I also like to promote myself, but real quick. I'm on Twitter. It's called @jerseyghost.com. JERSEYGHOSTS. Send me your opinions and what have you and crap, and just don't bore me to death. That's all I ask. If you want to talk about the show and crap like that. So it's Jersey Ghost. Jersey Ghost. That's the host of the Shop from the Point show. Me, Tommy Count. Tommy C. I don't like using my last name. It sounds too ethnic. All right, Dave. Plugs.
Well, you can also catch me on Twitter @DavidWVancura, VANCURA, and I got my book out there, The Chronicles of L.J. Stevens. Be sure you can check me out on Podbean, my other show, This Guy's Take on It. I'm back on the airwaves. I'm trying to get I'd love you to do the show with me, but I don't want to do two shows that are too similar.
I could be a guest, like a special guest.
I want to have someone else on with me because I want to be able to talk more about things, have more banter. So I'm looking for people who'd like to be on, have some fun with me. We can make some magic together, people. Let's have some fun out there. And of course you can check out my brother, who's supposed to
have some fun with you, baby.
We do have some fun, baby. My brother was supposed to be on a show with me, but he's diffed because now he's the #1 reviewer over at Chaos Hour, and he's too good for me. Well, guess what, buddy? I'm your big brother. You make time for me.
Big time. He dipped out.
He dipped out. He did the dip.
Fuck your
He okey-doked. Okey-doked me.
He okey-doked you. He okey-doked.
But the last thing I got is everyone beware of bath salts. Other than that.
Unless you want a really interesting time. Also, there's some kind of friggin' Miami zombie prank that's floating around the internet going viral. I suggest checking that out. Maybe I'll put that link for that.
Prepare yourselves for the inevitable outbreak.
Yeah, that's fine. Hey, that's been it. That's a shot from the point. I think we hit our hour spot. We covered just about everything and way more than we probably should have. I'm Tommy C. This is Dead on Dave. And on your knees, that's me. And I'm under your skin. Sorry about your team, buddy. No,
I'm not.
No,
I'm not.
That's me.
Sweep.
That's what happens when you run your mouth. You
Run
embarrass
your
yourself.
mouth, karma gets you.
You embarrass yourself. In fact, we didn't talk about that, Dave. I think one of the reasons the Devils weren't able to overcome Los Angeles' forecheck was because On Your Knees ran his mouth too much, and Karma's a bitch.
Karma bitch slapped his team.
All right. Well,
I'd like to think that Karma fought for me here. I know you did, my friend.
That's when you make fun of people. That's what happens. But I know you don't have the balls to listen to this. And if you had that weird, uncomfortable feeling, that's me. That itch, that's me. I'm under your skin. Have a good night, everybody. Take care and stay tuned probably for one of the last Chopping Point shows coming up. So you guys all take care. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Peace.